And this is Supervisor Richard Forster. We're back with TSPN and with Linda Van Vlek, the Amador County Code Enforcement Officer.
Hello.
Linda, we just started talking about the Abandoned Vehicle Abatement Program. There is a ballot measure on the ballot, Measure U, which specifically keeps the fee in place that is presently in place, correct?
That's correct.
And how much money does that generate, and where does that money come from?
It generates approximately somewhere between $45,000 and $48,000 a year.
And that comes directly out of your DMV payments that you make?
Every car that is registered in Amador County, $1 of that registration comes back to the county to use to abate abandoned and inoperable vehicles from our streets and private properties.
Okay. So, and I should know this because I just recently utilized the program to get 2 vehicles off of my property that were not operational. But you can do that for anyone in the county, and is there a fee for that when it's done?
No, there isn't, not right now. When we do have funds available, we use it until it's gone, or else at the end of the year they can take our funds away from us. Mm-hmm. So it's important that we do use the funds that are allocated to our county for the purpose of getting rid of these eyesores and or health and safety issues, actually.
Yeah, I did not want vehicles sitting on my property that, one, they were to a condition now with the way the laws are that it was going to take too much money to bring them back. I would have liked to have kept my old flatbed, but couldn't do that. But the neighbors, it's in direct sight of the neighbors, and that affects your neighborhood and your property values and everything else.
Oh, it does. And we get a lot of calls from real estate people, too, that people have walked off of their properties and left their cars, and they need help. Mm-hmm. I do the paperwork so that I am able to obtain junk slips for these cars, and then we actually sell these cars to an outside dismantler, and we actually recoup funds to help augment our funds.
Now, right now you're lucky because the iron market is very good right now, so you're actually getting people that will either pay you or take the vehicles for free. Is that correct?
They will pay us. They pay us. It varies from time to time. It's an up and down market, but right now, like you say, it is an up market, and we can get as much as $200 a car to help augment our expenses.
Now, as I remember from being on the board in the past, there have been years where by August, September, October, you run out of money because you're having to use all the money in your account because the price of metal is way down.
Oh, yes, and one year we even had to pay the dismantler to come get them. Mm-hmm. So it's up and down, but the last few years has been extremely high prices, and therefore a lot of people are out there scavenging the properties and asking people, and if they have clear title and that, they can give it to them, but sometimes when they don't, that's when our service really comes into play. Because
you take care of all those details, like if a person says, I can't find the pink slip, or I don't know where any documentation is.
That's right. And also, it's very important that we do clear these cars through the DMV in order that if let's say it was in a bad accident where someone was killed or there was a murder or a holdup or something, that car, that might be a clue to a case that hasn't really been able to be closed. So we also have to look at that factor.
On the bigger picture for the whole county, looking away from those private individuals who want your assistance with abandoned vehicles on their own property, they abandon them. But in the community at large, that's where your service to me is invaluable, where you have the dollars to go out and take those vehicles that have been parked along the side of the road or out into somebody's field that had nothing to do with those cars before, then you come into play.
That's correct. Especially when, let's say, you wake up one morning and a car has crashed through your fence and there's no one around.
Right.
And they just walked off. Well, then I can do it at no charge to you whatsoever, and abatement, everything, the whole ball of wax.
And that's important when you go into a scene like that. If a vehicle is just left there, you have to get all the ID information off that vehicle and try to trace it back and see if it was stolen or anything else like that, correct?
Yes, and a lot of times it is stolen. It's surprising. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of times, but I'd say during a year, maybe twice. Mm-hmm. During a year, we'll come across a stolen vehicle.
So for that dollar that people put on their DMV fees, we help to cure a big blight that could otherwise occur in the county. And it periodically, I mean, I see vehicles around once in a while, and I have to tell you, I saw that vehicle out there and might want to take a look at it. So you've helped private individuals too. I know, maybe I shouldn't mention names, but I will, but Howard Properties had some vehicles that were on their property that needed to come off.
It was a situation where it wasn't any fault of theirs. They had been there for, oh gosh, it's probably since the 1950s, I would guess, some of these cars. And we had trees growing up through the middle of them and things like that. And to get rid of a public nuisance and maybe even a fire, could be a fire or something like that, that we helped them out to remove them.
Now, this program's been in place for how many years?
It's been in place for, this is going on the 21st year.
So people have been paying this, well, $1 now, but whatever the amount was way back when, 21 years ago.
It was $1.
It was $1 then?
Yes.
So people in Amador County have been paying that $1 fee for 21 years. Now we have to affirm this through the process of putting it on as a ballot measure and having people affirm that they want to keep paying that fee.
That's correct.
And fee, tax, whatever you want. We had a discussion earlier on the state fire tax responsibility. This is one that people pay the $1, comes through their DMV fees, sent to the county, and it's used for something directly related to the citizens of Amador County to cure the blights out there.
That's correct.
So for how many years have you been doing this program?
I've been doing it since it started. Actually, before it started, we had to prepare our ordinances and things like that to get it going. So I think I've been working on this program for probably 22 years. And I've been with the county for 24 coming up.
And I guess we are talking about the measure, and people can vote for or against it. If somebody's thinking, I'm going to vote against it because I live inside of a city and it doesn't really do much good for me, what would be the anti or the con argument to that?
Actually, each of the 5 cities is involved as the county is. We have to be collectively together or else the program does not work. And we have the support of all 5 cities, and it's valued in each one of those cities as well as our county. Well,
I know a lot of people own property that they might have their home in the city, and then they might own property outside, but everybody drives throughout our county, and everybody's going to see those vehicles that are parked out in a field or alongside the road that have just been abandoned. So I can see some benefit. If somebody doesn't want to pay that $1 on their DMV bill, then I guess that's their right if they want to do that. So,
also, we have to consider too that these cars are left on county roads where it's dark at night, and someone might come around a corner and slam into it. So it's a health and safety issue as well.
So there's a liability issue there for the general public at large.
That's correct.
And other counties, they have similar programs like this in place?
Oh, yes, they do. I can't tell you right now the number, but I think at one time I was aware that there was about 24 counties.
And why wouldn't every county have this in place? Some are just more urban, or?
No, actually, Los Angeles County, San Diego counties have been members before. Okay. And no, there's not that reason, but I know it helps the urban counties much more than probably the cities, but that's my opinion.
I can tell you from the budget side as a supervisor in Amador County, we can't do it for free.
No.
To come up with $45,000 a year to remediate something like this, I just don't think we have the money in our budget to do it unless we lay off some more employees. But Linda, thank you very much for being here today. Again, Measure U on the ballot on abandoned vehicle abatement and the collection of that $1. And we have to go to another break. This is Supervisor Richard Forster, and we'll see you sometime in the future.
You're watching Amador County's #1 news and sports leader, TSPN.